Are you tired of plants that need constant attention and pruning? If you are, this video is for you. Before I show you some smaller plants that I use all the time that are very useful in smaller spaces and are easy to take care of, I want to show you the garden of Eddie the Lazy Landscaper. Eddie's got a lot of good examples here of the right plant for the right place. It's really important to select your plants properly so you don't have to constantly be pruning them and you don't have to constantly be worried about them.
I actually invented a term, John. You probably have heard about it. Instead of sleepwalking, I call it sleep gardening.
So this plant can hide unsightly objects on your wall like irrigation controllers or backflow preventers, and it can be used as a living green fence as long as you support it.
They don't need that heavy a pruning. You know, you're able to keep them to a decent size without intruding. It could be more natural looking if you want it to be, and so it's not one of those critical things that has to be pruned all the time.
It's an evergreen plant, always looks pretty good. It's very versatile. It's used in a lot of different ways. You can even use it as a ground cover. Instead of growing it up, you could just plant it on the ground and it grows all over the ground to about 2 to 3 feet tall. So this is trumpet vine that Eddie's used to grow up on the outside of his chimney. He's getting voracious growth out of it. It's amazing all of us by how fast it grows.
This is only a year old, and I
Really?
got it when it was this big. At some point I may have to prune it, and it'll start getting runners down here, and I may prune those back, but really not much effort at all in that.
It doesn't grow so fast that you have to prune it more than once a year. You need to be careful how you prune it because you're growing this for the flowers.
The only complaint I have about this, if it's even a legitimate one, is it doesn't have a long blooming cycle because it's so pretty, but it certainly greens up and stays green year round.
Eddie!
Oh, hey John.
I like the idea of hiding things, as Eddie has done in certain spots, but I also like the idea of showing the design of the house and the architecture of the house, and this idea of foundation planting, which is plants that go right along your house, usually in a fairly tight spot. I think it's important not to pick inappropriate plants that are too big for the spot that you then have to club into submission. So I've brought today a few plants to show you. They're appropriate for these tight spots. I will show you them at the end of this video. These roses just outside Eddie's window are a good example of appropriate foundation planting that doesn't get too big and doesn't need any special pruning or care. Now let's look at trees that allow you to garden without a lot of work. The two big things to picking the right tree are the canopy size and the habits of the roots.
These kinds of trees I call lollipop trees because you can train them and get them started, and then they're really not that labor intensive. But the scale of this tree to my smaller yard gives me a lot of beauty without being overly large and looking out of place. This is about as large as it gets, which is about a 10-foot canopy. So if you look over here to the edge of the pool, it does not drop anything in the pool. And you know I don't like cleaning up my pool.
Perfect for Eddie the Lazy Landscaper.
And Mrs. Lazy Landscaper likes it too.
So Hibiscus syriacus is usually used as a large background shrub. Eddie has pruned it into a small, very well-behaved tree. Now to get it to look like this, it was more work in the beginning because this isn't its natural form. If you had hibiscus as a large shrub, you could never prune it if it was in a form that you liked. If you pick the wrong tree, meaning one that's too big for small gardens, don't worry about it, it'll only ruin your yard. Usually you see the wrong tree selected because it's too big and over time has root problems, cracks your driveways, cracks your sidewalks, and makes it so all these things are part of the maintenance of caring for this tree that's really too big for its spot.
I saw a Chinese pistachio the other day in my niece's yard, brand new home, and they'd planted it 2 feet from the edge of her roof. Now, that's a 25-foot canopy tree probably.
If you go into new subdivisions, you see all of these big trees planted in these small little yards. They do take over the whole yard and the house. as we look in other parts of your garden, you have some other nice small trees.
Japanese maple's a great scale tree we were talking about because it comes in different sizes. This is a medium small one, if you will. This is about as big as this is going to get.
It'll get 20 feet tall. Some people don't consider that small, but for a tree, that's a patio scale tree. Japanese maple is a nice choice because it's pretty easy to take care of, and even in Fresno, this green one takes quite a lot of sun, doesn't have invasive roots. It does need some pruning to look its best so that you can kind of see through it and see the structure. You would need to thin it once a year definitely, and usually that's enough. Speaking about your laziness, I heard
Oh, you don't have to call me your laziness. Just Eddie's fine.
Eddie's
but
good.
anyway, go ahead.
If we had a pill
Yes.
to cure procrastination, you'd take it tomorrow.
I don't know if I'd have the energy, but it sounds good.
Crepe myrtles like this Tuscarora and like this muskogee, those are big crepe myrtles, and they're called Indian tribe crepe myrtles. They're big and they have these big plumes of flowers. You can see this makes an excellent small shade tree. Usually crepe myrtles are smaller, and there's lots of varieties that are smaller. Speaks to what we were talking about earlier of picking the right size plant for a small garden, but this is the perfect size for this spot.
Right, and that's why I chose this. I knew this was a little larger scale, or quite a bit larger scale than some of my smaller trees. However, the master bedroom's here, and when we opened that up to look out, we wanted a big tree that also cut down on the sun coming in. To have this scale, we had to have some room, so we don't have a lot of other things around it.
The only problem sometimes is they tend to get aphid. Feed your soil, make your soil as healthy as possible, and usually you can control that. It doesn't require a lot of pruning, but to make it look like Eddie's here, it needs thinning, I'd say at least once a year.
Well, it's almost getting nap time, John.
Now let's take a look at some of my favorite plants that happen to be small. You don't have to prune them a lot, and they'll fit in almost anywhere. You never have to prune this. It only gets about 12 inches tall, and it spreads out. It's a very low maintenance, low growing, green perennial shrub. Very useful plant in that it's tough, doesn't take a lot of water. It's bright green, which is sometimes hard to find with low water plants. We use it as kind of an unusual ground cover, so to cover large spaces. We used it the other day in a parking strip. One that you see all the time that gets too big for the spot is the bay tree, or the bay leaf tree, or sweet bay. It goes by different names. And this is a dwarf bay called Little Ragu. It only gets about 5 or 6 feet tall, whereas a full-grown bay tree gets 20, 30 feet. The little ragu, a bay, could be pruned about once a year just to keep it in the shape and the form that you want. It's kind of a background shrub. I actually used it at my new house along a walkway where we're trying to create an evergreen screen. Eddie has one that we showed you earlier, green Japanese maple, that's 20 feet tall, and his has been there a while. This one is only 3 to 5 feet tall, full size. So it's a small, delicate, dwarf Japanese maple, and there's lots of different varieties that fit that same description. They can be used appropriately without covering up your house and covering up the appealing parts of your architecture. Tuscan blue rosemary is a good plant for around your house that doesn't get too huge. It's probably 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide, easy to grow, tough, water efficient, and great for cooking. I can smell it already. If you use it in the right spot, you almost never have to prune it. This Liriope is called Silvery Sunproof, and it's a variegated one. Liriope in general is very useful because it'll take a whole lot of shade and it'll take a whole lot of sun. It doesn't get too much bigger than this, maybe twice this size in the ground. Good in foregrounds. You don't need to prune it at all unless you see dead parts of it or you want to prune off the flowers or something. Juniperus procumbens nana doesn't get more than 6 to 12 inches and just grows along the ground. You can use it as a ground cover in the foreground because it's low. It doesn't get big at all. It's tough. It doesn't require much water. It's easy to grow. Doesn't need pruning. Lots of agaves aren't practical and useful in small gardens because they're huge. Whereas blue glow stays only 2 feet tall, and there's other dwarf varieties. Blue glow is one of my favorites. You can see it has very handsome foliage. You can see Eddie's using Dwarf agave, not blue glow, but a different variety, in his pots. They're excellent in pots. Also just good as a filler in small landscape areas, but they would be used in the foreground because they're so small. This is agapanthus Queen Anne, which is a fairly small agapanthus. Stays very well contained. This only gets about 12 inches tall. It's not a plant that you prune other than if it has damage from frost. A lot of people shy away from nandina because they tend to be overused, but there's a lot of new varieties of nandina that are tremendously interesting and intriguing. This is one called Flirt. You almost never have to prune it. It only gets 3 to 4 feet tall, and it's got kind of a spreading pendulous habit. Really delicate looking, has great colors in the spring and the fall. It's a real interesting focal point in a small area. If you have an area that you think people are going to look at, I'd use a few nandina Flirt together. Russelia, St. Elmo's fire, blooms like crazy this time of the year. Right now it's looking great. There's not many plants that look its best when it's 105 like it's going to be today here in Fresno. A little bit more of a background plant because it does get 4 to 5 to 6 feet tall. Doesn't hardly take any water. You don't really have to prune it if you put it in a spot that can take about a 4 to 5 foot plant. Dianella Casa Blue gets maybe twice this tall, blooms, takes sun and shade, easy to grow. Does not require pruning. It really can't be pruned other than removing dead leaves. You can use it as a foreground plant. I used it in my new house as a border around my dwarf ginkgo tree.
So if you want to be a lazy landscaper like me, then I suggest that you maybe write down some of the things that we talk about in this video, some of John's plants that he recommends, and then you can put together your own landscape and at the same time, same time be lazy. Thank you and grow for it.
So if you like this video and you like participating in a little nap with Eddie, please like it, subscribe to our channel. Check out one of our other videos we did with Eddie the Lazy Landscaper. We managed to keep him awake long enough to do a few videos.